Hello friends, this is a very short video on the very recent update that has come on 8th of September 2020. This is with respect to the general extension for holding AGM for financial year 19. So we all know that as per section 96, companies are required to hold or you can say call their AGM within 6 months from the end of the financial year, and between two AGMs there cannot be a time of more than 15 months gap. Looking at this data of the type of companies in the country, it is very evident that the majority chunk of the total number of companies comprises of private companies, followed by unlisted public companies, and then we have a very small portion which consists of the listed public companies. Now, listed companies, as on date, if I tell you, most of them have already called and held their AGM. The AGM is over for the big companies, but it is the small companies which are facing the issue, and the issue is primarily due to the non-finalization of the accounts. So, companies before 8th of September, many companies have already, because on the ground of non-finalization of their financial statements, have already applied to the ROC for asking for an extension of time for calling their AGM. There could be several grounds, but this year being an exceptional year due to the outbreak of the pandemic, companies have not been able to finalize their financial statements due to the restricted accessibility, restrictions of movement, the unlock phase just still on, and things like that. For steps for extension application, it includes the board approval of your company, which wants the extension, and then that is followed by making an application to the ROC in e-form GNL1, which is a general application form. Section 96 nowhere talks about GNL1, but being a general form to which companies can seek application or share information with the ROC. Companies as a practice file GNL1 for asking for extension for holding their AGM. And based on your extension application and the grounds, the reasons that you've given, the ROC comes up with the approval or rejection. Generally, it has been seen on various occasions that the time for making an extension application, many ROCs are of the view that when the companies are expected to send out the notices for the AGM, that should be the time that they should be making the extension application. While other ROCs are of the view, the other school of thought is that no, when the company is expected to call their AGM and actually hold their AGM, before that they should be making the extension application. But this year, on 17th of August 2020, there was a clarification from MCA which specifically stated that all the companies which are facing issues in calling their AGM should file an extension application with the respective ROCs on or before 29th of September 2020. This year, the fate of AGM extension applications, of course, now there is no fate because it's a deemed approval, which we'll talk just in some moments. But if this would have been any other year and the company would have applied to the ROC stating the reason of non-finalization, unless the reason for not able to finalize the financial statements is very, very strong, the ROCs generally would not have been, very the fate of the application would not be much in favor of the company. But this year, because there was a specific clarification and direction from the ministry that all the extension applications should be liberally reviewed by the ROC and the extensions should be accordingly granted. So many companies which have already filed the extension application before 8th of September, there also there was, it was most likely that the extensions would be granted. But as on date, if I tell you, there is no question on the fate of AGM extension applications because of the general extension that has been given. Now, what if you are not able to hold or call your AGM within the prescribed timelines? Section 99 deals with that. That if you don't comply with Section 96, the company and every officer who is in default is punishable with a fine up to rupees 1 lakh. And for continuing default, there will be a fine leviable up to 5,000 rupees for every day of default. Now, the penalty is now, I mean, a far-fetched idea because there is a general extension, and by virtue of this general extension, which MCA issued on 8th of September, pursuant to which ROCs of the respective have issued orders specifically mentioning that there's a general extension, there is an automatic extension, and companies can now call their AGM till 31st of December 2020. There is no need for companies who have not yet filed the extension application to actually file one in Form JNL1 for staking extension. From where did the ROCs got this power to issue the order? So if we look at the third proviso to Section 9651, it specifically states that ROCs can grant the extension of time on special reasons by 3 months. So this year, being a very, very exceptional year, the reason is not hidden. It's very much evident that there is a complete, disruption, and there is disruption in the operation. There are a lot of issues which companies are facing currently, and this being itself a very, very special reason, the ROCs have come out with this general extension. While Section 96 does not talk about any application to be made specifically in GNL1, but as a practice, companies file GNL1 for seeking extension. So, what about the status of applications already filed? All applications before that were rejected by the ROC, now they are also deemed to be approved, and those companies also can now call their AGM by the 31st of December 2020. Those applications which are pending for approval as on 8th of September are also deemed to be approved, and those companies which have not filed an extension application are not required to file one, because this general extension is a for all the extension application. It's a deemed extension of timeline for calling the AGM for the financial year 1920. So this was a very, very quick update. I hope you find the same useful. Thank you.